Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Anita, and today I will be continuing on from last week's video on inflation to talk about different ways we can combat inflation and make the most of our income given the super high inflation rates. I have 10 different ways here for you to inflation-proof your money and make the most of it. If you guys want to check out my last video, I have linked it in the description below, so please give it a watch. So before we dive into the 10 inflation-proofing methods, let's quickly talk about what inflation is as a recap. So inflation is essentially a measure of the increase in prices of goods and services over time. And when inflation rises, the value of our money decreases. What we mean by this is that your money can now buy less than it once could. For example, the price of one loaf of bread in 2000 was 50 pence. Now the average price for one loaf of bread is £1.20. This means that £10 in the year 2000 could have bought you 20 loaves of bread, whereas now that same £10 can only buy you 8 loaves of bread. So you've lost out on 12 whole loaves of bread just because of inflation. And with the current inflation rates of 10.1% in July, 9.8% in August, it means that our money is losing value faster rates than ever before. Thankfully, we saw a decrease from the 10.1% to 9.8% in August, and this was mainly thanks to the government's new energy price cap that they put in place, capping the average spend per household to £2,500 per year for the next 2 years. So now that we've had our brief recap on inflation and its impact, let's dive straight into the 10 inflation-proofing methods for your finances. The first one is to earn interest on your saving. Inflation and savings sadly do not go hand in hand, because it means if inflation is rising, your savings are depleting in value, because inflation only makes your money lose value. And the way to combat this is to earn high interest rates on your current savings. Ideally as high as the current inflation rate so that your money can maintain its value. However, there's currently no saving account on the market that offers a 10.1% or 9.9% interest rate. So the best thing we can do is to find the highest interest rates on the markets for the banks that we're most comfortable with and save our money over there. And at the moment, the highest interest rates for your regular saving account is around 3.75%. However, do be aware that the higher interest rates tend to be with more newer online banks, so not your regular high street banks. So make sure you do your own research on these banks and make sure you're comfortable putting your money there. Our regular old high street banks tend to have much lower interest rates, with the highest at the moment being around 1.5%. I've linked below the best savings account for the various different rates at the moment, but make sure you do your own research and make sure you feel comfortable before putting your finances there. Another tip is to make sure that each bank that you do plan to invest your money in is FSCS regulated. What this means is that if a bank is FSCS regulated, per bank up to 85,000 of your money is protected, which of course gives you a lot of peace of mind. So make sure if you're investing in a new bank, it has an FSCS regulation for your own peace of mind and for the safety of your money. The second inflation-proofing method is to pay off debt. For example, if the rate of your mortgage is currently higher than the interest rate your bank is giving you on your savings, it makes sense to use your savings to pay off the debt in order to stop losing even more money each month. The third tip is to fix your mortgage rate. So the cost of your mortgage is currently on the rise. This is mainly due to the Bank of England raising their base rate, which they have done in order to slow down inflation. Their base rate is now at 2.25% compared to the 0.1% it was in December, so a huge rise. And what the banks tend to do is that they tend to pass on this rise to their customers by raising interest rates on mortgage payments, making it more and more expensive to borrow money and discouraging people from doing so. So what this means for you is that if you have a mortgage that's coming to the end of its fixed term, or if you have a variable rate mortgage, now is the best time as soon as possible to try and secure a good mortgage deal that has as low possible interest rate repayments before the prices rise even further, because the Bank of England is predicted to raise their base rate up to 3%. With a fixed rate mortgage, your mortgage rate is fixed for up to 2 to 5 years, which means you then have peace of mind knowing that the cost to live in your own home or the cost of your investment property is not going to go up for the next 2 to 5 years, so you know exactly how much you are meant to pay. And the fourth tip is to be a savvy shopper. So the last thing you want to do during periods of high inflation is overspend or spend your money unwisely. Hence why being a savvy shopper or a clever shopper right now will go a long way. One way to do this is to take advantage of platforms like Quidco or Top Cashback that give you cash back for every pound that you spend. For example, M&S is currently offering an 8% cash back, and Currys is currently offering £100 back on Quidco. And on Top Cashback, Booking.com is offering 4% cash back. And the good news is you can also earn money by referring a friend, so even if you refer people on your own household, it's likely you'll get some money back. On top of these websites, another way to get cash back is to use cashback credit cards. One of them that I personally use is the American Express Platinum Cashback Everyday Credit Card, which gives you 5% cash back for purchases up to £100 for the first 3 months. For purchases up to £100 for the first 3 months on almost every one of your shops. However, after the first 3 months, it's much lower at 0.5% for up to spends of £10,000 and 1% cash back for spends above £10,000. But the best thing to do is to go on comparison sites and shop around and see what deals you might be missing out on that could greatly benefit your wallet. Another few areas you could be saving on are mobile phone bills, for example, and also house insurance. So if you go on to comparison websites, they're able to give you the best current phone deals if you're not locked into a contract, and also the best possible house insurance prices. All of this goes together to make sure you're not overspending and are getting the best deals for your money. Tip number 5 is to sign up for loyalty schemes. I love loyalty schemes. I've signed up for almost all of them. These include things like your Tesco Club cards, your Sainsbury Nectar cards, and Boots Advantage card, all of them. Because every shop gives you points that adds up, and slowly these points are collected together that then give you money off on your future shop. With Tesco, if you have the club card, it's money right off your shop, and with other things like your Boot Advantage card, you have to collect a certain number of points before they give you money off, or you can use the points to buy certain items. I personally have benefited from that greatly and have often just gone into Boots and gotten things for free just with my points, which is awesome. The 6th tip for you is to budget. I made a whole video on this, guys, so make sure you check it out on how to budget and great tips for budgeting that I have linked below. So while saving and inflation don't go hand in hand, budgeting, making the most of your money, and being smart with your money will definitely go a long way. It will make the higher costs easier to manage and to navigate, and also by budgeting you might come across unused subscriptions or unused items that you have on automatic direct debit that you can then get rid of, and that would save you up quite a bit of money. So definitely budget, look at your income, look at your expenses, and see where you can cut back and save. The 7th tip I have for you is to lower your household costs. So household costs have increased by close to £700 this year to close to £2,000 this month, and set to rise to around £2,500 in October. Thankfully, because of the recent energy price cap, the energy prices are not allowed to rise to more than £2,500 on average per household for the next 2 years, which is great. However, there are other things that you could also be doing in order to cut back. One way to do this is to install a smart meter. This is free by most energy companies at the moment and helps you see how much you're spending every day, every hour, every week, and helps you manage and be more in control of your energy usage and where your money is going. Next, you can also use comparison websites. So these are great for comparing the prices of different energy suppliers. At the moment, it's pretty much fixed across the UK, but definitely keep an eye out to see if this changes. And finally, what you can also do is to turn off unused appliances during the day when you're not at home in order to save heating costs and electricity costs. Long term, of course, it helps to be more energy efficient, so investing in good insulation for your house so that there's less wastage of your energy and less usage will go a long way in keeping your costs down. Along those same lines, if there are certain devices of yours that you're planning on replacing, make sure they're in the most efficient energy bracket, so long term they use less energy and run for a fraction of the cost. Win-win. Number 8 is to decrease your food bill. So I don't mean starve yourself or don't eat. There are certain apps and certain places like Olio and Too Good To Go that you can take advantage of that offer the same quality food that you would normally buy from your local stores for free or for a discounted price. Another tip is to keep an eye out for when your local grocery stores tend to reduce their price. Most stores this tends to be around 6 to 7 p.m. so keep an eye out because that's when you get the best deals. Number 9, and this may not apply to everyone, but it is to reduce the cost of childcare if you have a child. The government actually offers subsidies on childcare for households that earn an income of less than 100,000 a year. Currently, they're offering £2 for every £8 spent on childcare, and this adds up to around £2,000 per year per child. So make sure you're taking advantage of this and not overspending. Now, I've saved the best for last, and tip number 10 is my own personal favorite, and this is to invest your money. So all of the money that you have saved up, now's the time to invest it to get those high returns that beat inflation. So the method that I use is to invest in real estate, and investing is especially great if the returns you achieve on your investment are higher than the rates of inflation. So with inflation currently at 9.8%, anything you achieve more than that is already a gain on your money. And even if you achieve 9.8%, that's at least maintaining the value for money so that you're not losing out. I've put this one last because it's not the most straightforward and is not the easiest one for you to do, especially if you are new to investing or have never invested before. So this one does take considerable more effort and more education to do. However, it's the one with the biggest reward, so do not neglect investing and definitely take the time to look into this option. For me personally, I only invest in real estate deals that have a 12% return or more, which means that for the money I currently have invested in real estate, not only am I beating the current inflation rate, but I'm also making money on top of that. And that could be something you do too. Another option that's probably easier to get into and much faster for you to get into is to start investing in index funds. Investing in index funds requires less capital than investing in real estate would, so it's definitely one to get educated about and to consider. At the moment, the average return for an index fund is close to what I currently achieve for my properties, which is around 12%, which is great. And to get started, all you need is an account with an investing platform. And because it's much easier than investing in real estate, you don't need as big a deposit, and all you really need is an online account with an investing platform like Vanguard. And of course, you need to educate yourself and do your own research before you put your money in any of these funds. For example, take note of the amount of fees these investment platforms charge, and if there are any limits to when you can take your money out if you really need to. Finally, another investing option is to invest in companies that have a high pricing power. Pricing power here basically means that these companies can increase the prices of their goods and services in line to cover costs of inflation without affecting their sales. And these include companies like LVMH that sells you your Louis Vuitton bags, and Nike, Pfizer, and of course Apple that sells you your iPhones and other Apple devices. And those were your 10 inflation proofing tips. Thank you so much for watching, guys. That's all for today's video. I really hope that at least one of these tips were useful for you and that you can derive some benefit for them. If you liked this video and found it a value add, please do like and subscribe, and give me your comments to let me know how it can improve and what you would like to see from future videos. As always, thank you for watching and thank you for your support, and I will see you in my next video.